So you're thinking about moving to Bellingham, Washington? Well, in this video, I'm going to take you on a Google Map tour of one of 29 distinct neighborhoods here in Bellingham, Washington. Today's tour is the Fairhaven neighborhood in South Bellingham, right along Bellingham Bay. And it is one of the most desirable neighborhoods in Bellingham, Washington, mostly because of the great historical homes, nice new condos. There's a lot of locally owned businesses and restaurants. There's some great walking trails right along Bellingham Bay. So without further ado, let's get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, playing, working, as well as the good and bad about living in Bellingham, Washington, then subscribe below and tap the bell icon for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Bellingham and surrounding areas. My name is Dale Serbasek and I'm with the Living in Bellingham, Washington team, and every single day we get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Info's in the description below. We'll be happy to help you make that smooth move to the Bellingham, Washington area. Welcome to the Fairhaven map tour here in Google Maps, and I'm going to take you all around one of Bellingham's most beloved neighborhoods, one of the most desirable neighborhoods here in Bellingham, Washington. It's in the southern part of Bellingham. It's right on Bellingham Bay, and you're going to see why so many people want to live in the Fairhaven neighborhood. And as you can see right down here, this is the Fairhaven neighborhood. Right here on the bottom here, the south side of Bellingham, you can see the greater Bellingham areas right here. There are 29 neighborhoods in Bellingham, Washington, and we are going through each of these neighborhoods to give you a map tour. So I'd encourage you to check out all the other neighborhood map tours if you want to see what the different neighborhoods are like, to see what might be a good place for you to live. And as I zoom out here, you'll see the Canadian border is right up here. And the quickest way to get up to the Canadian border from Fairhaven, of course, you just come across here to I-5, and it's about a 25-minute drive up to the Canadian border there at Blaine. And if you head south on I-5, you can get to Seattle in about an hour and 45 minutes. And zooming in here a little bit closer, you can see now Fairhaven used to be its own town, separate from Bellingham back in the early 1900s. The town of Maikham and Bellingham and Fairhaven combined to create Bellingham, Washington as it is today. There's a couple neighborhoods that are a little bit further south than Fairhaven. You can see down here is the Edgemore neighborhood. Chuckanut is down here, as well as the South neighborhood. And over here we got the Lake Padden area and the Puget area here as well. So Fairhaven actually has mostly condos. There's a few residential areas. As we zoom in here, I'll show you those residential areas with single family homes. There's a lot of great restaurants. It's kind of like Old Town Bellingham because there's a lot of brownstone buildings, a lot of historical houses, and that's one of the things that adds to the charm of the Bellingham Fairhaven area. And as we zoom in here, I'm going to start over along the water. There's a couple things I want to point out. We have the Alaska Marine Highway system. So there is a passenger ferry as well as a car ferry that you can take all the way on the inside passage up to Alaska. Makes a couple stops up there, takes a couple days. You can also do something really unique if you have a tent. You can actually camp on the deck of the ferry all the way up. And then some people actually will take their car up there and they'll drive it back down from Alaska back down through Canada and such. So that's a great thing. This is the southernmost stop on the Alaska Marine Highway system. And as we come in here, this general area, there's also the Amtrak train, which you can take north into Canada or you can take it south down to Seattle. A lot of people actually go to Mariners games. They will hop on the Amtrak on an afternoon when the Mariners are playing down in Seattle, and they will take the train down there, and you don't have to worry about parking. Watch the game. If you have a few beers, you don't have to drive. You can head back up to Bellingham. It's pretty inexpensive. And one of the best parks in Bellingham, Washington is Marine Park right here. And actually, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer and switch it to the satellite view so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. So off of Harris, if you drive in through here, there's some parking right here. There's actually not that many parking spots. So they fill up quickly, especially around sunset in the summer months, because it's probably one of the best places to watch the sunset here in the Bellingham, Washington area. And this is a nice little beach. It's a gravelly beach. There's lots of old driftwood logs that you can sit on, have a picnic. There's a grassy area. There's a pavilion with bathrooms. And there's also the great sunsets that go out this way. You can actually walk into the bay here, so it's pretty easy to swim along here. You see a lot of people doing windsurfing, water sports, hoverboards, all that type of stuff they're gonna be doing out here in the water during the nice summer months. And actually, just the other day, me and my buddies, we do cold plunges in the middle of winter. The temperature of the water is probably in the upper 30s to lower 40s, and we take a nice cool dip here for 4 minutes and get out and have a little fire here to warm up. So, and if you see this area right here, this is Bellingham's water treatment facility, and it's kind of an eyesore from the satellite view, but it's down low, so all of these houses look over it. You can't even see it because there's a big cliff right here, but it doesn't stink or anything like that. It's actually processing the water before we drink it. The water coming from Lake Whatcom is our drinking water. And as we head over this portion, you can see this is the southern edge of the Fairhaven neighborhood's Cowgill Avenue. This is the Edgemore neighborhood down here. And most of the single family residential homes are gonna be right in this general area. Whoa, didn't mean to zoom in so close. They're gonna be right in this general area here, most of the single family homes. And as a matter of fact, as we go over here, I actually used to live in this house right here. And it's got some nice community gardens, and people can rent these little plots and do gardening in the summer, have picnics and all that stuff out here. It's a really nice place to relax in the summer months. You can also pick up the Interurban trail system. There's an entrance that comes in here, and then you can also walk this way. And this goes all the way over to Chuckanut Mountain down to the south of Bellingham. So you can actually walk or bike a significant distance through this pathway here. And then if you come up this way, you can see this gray area. This cuts down over here to Marine Park. And cutting across down here, you can see there is Fairhaven Middle School, although it's not in the Fairhaven neighborhood. We have Fairhaven Middle School, so if you have kids and you live in the Fairhaven neighborhood, they are going to go to school in Fairhaven Middle School, and it is awesome middle school. That's where my kids went. It's up on a hill, and there's big bay windows here that look out towards Bellingham Bay, so I don't know how those kids get any studying done with the views like that. They're pretty lucky to have that view. There's some really nice condos that are along 12th Street and Fairhaven Parkway. Those are going to run you probably about $800,000 to $900,000 right now as of the making of this video, but these are very nice condos. This is some mixed use, so there are some houses that are used as homes as well as businesses, like you can see here, Fairhaven Vision Clinic. There's a church, Hillcrest Community Church is right here, and Old Fairhaven Parkway is one of the main thoroughfares in the Fairhaven area. If I zoom out, you can see it comes along here from I-5 down this way. It comes up. A lot of people coming to Fairhaven off of I-5 will pick this up. It comes down into the downtown Fairhaven area. Now this is not downtown Bellingham, even though, like I said, this used to be downtown Fairhaven when it was its own town. Zooming back in here, one of the better known grocery stores. This is one of the, there's several of these around town, the Haggens, but this is one of the smallest locations, and it serves mostly the Fairhaven area. You can pop in here and get any kind of groceries that you want. They were originally locally owned and started by the Haggen family, but they have since been purchased by a larger grocery conglomerate. And there's some condos along here as well. You can see this new construction. Those have been built out already. And as we come up this direction, you can see more residential homes along here. Most of these have bay views looking to the west as well. And if we come up to the north part of the Fairhaven area, Fairhaven neighborhood, you can see that that's Knox Avenue, which is the northern border of the Fairhaven neighborhood. And up here we have South Hill, which we will be doing a map tour on that as well. So stay tuned if you want to learn about another one of Bellingham's top neighborhoods, the South Hill neighborhood, which most of the homes there have absolutely stunning views of Bellingham Bay to the west. And those homes in the South Hill neighborhood up here, they start around 1.2, 1.3, and go all the way up to $3 or $4 million. So those are pretty spendy, some of the nicer homes in Bellingham. And of course, to the east, this is the Happy Valley neighborhood, which again, I'm gonna do a map tour on that as well. If I haven't already, check out that video. And as we come along here, this is the trail system I was telling you about earlier that you can pick up. It comes through Fairhaven on the sidewalks, and then you can pick this up and head up to Boulevard Park, which is one of the nicer parks in Bellingham up here, which I will go to in depth when I talk about the South Hill neighborhood. And there's this nice walkway here, which they call Taylor Dock, that comes down, and you can pick up that trail along there as well. So enough about South Hill. We'll go back to Fairhaven. And the other main thoroughfare in Fairhaven is Harris Avenue, which is named after Dirty Dan Harris. He's the one of the founders of the Fairhaven area back in the mid 1800s. This whole area, he settled this, and they've named that road after him. And if we zoom in a little bit closer, we're going to hit some of the main attractions as far as businesses. And I'm going to switch back to the satellite view so it's a little bit easier to see the lettering. Village Books and Paper Dreams is a giant bookstore. I believe it's 3 or 4 levels. They have lots of gifts, ice cream, candy, books, everything you need. There's actually a little cafe on the top floor. That's a nice place to come and hang out. The most notable thing in Fairhaven is the Fairhaven Village Green, which, going back to the satellite view and then zooming in a little bit, you can see it's this nice grassy lawn area. And in the summer months, you'll find lots of people hanging out here with picnics, playing with the kids. There's a stage right here, so you'll oftentimes see bands playing, and they have movie nights. I believe it's every Thursday night through the summer months. This particular building has a white space painted on it, and they shine up a movie. Some past blockbusters in the past, they will show those movies up there. It's a great way to hang out. This place gets absolutely packed when it's the movie night. There's some great restaurants in the Fairhaven area as well. We got Colophon Cafe, absolutely great breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the other one that's pretty notable is Skylarks Cafe right here. Another great place to eat. And this is a cool little hidden alley that comes through here. It's quite beautiful. There's lots of nice trees and such. You can hang out. There's also one of my favorite restaurants right here, Jalapeños Mexican restaurant. They got nice outdoor seating, great happy hour. There's some candy shop here. One of my favorite furniture stores. Let's see if I can get it to show up. It's called Artwood. If you like really high-end furniture made out of fancy wood, definitely check out Artwood. They've got really expensive furniture. We're talking like one dining room chair is like $1,000. But they have some pretty unique stuff, and they have smaller items too if you're looking for gifts. Nice little pottery shop in this location. And this area around here, these are going to be different restaurants, clothing shops. There's a pizza place right here. Where's that pizza place? Well, anyways, the pizza place right here, and I can't remember the name of it. Good pizza. And coming around here, we got a poke restaurant. There's another Mexican restaurant right here at El Agave Mexican restaurant. It's a nice place to eat. You got Dirty Dan Harris Steakhouse if you want a good steak. There is Fairhaven Runners and Walkers. They got lots of nice shoes and such that you can, for running, and all of the running gear that you might need. Another one of my favorite restaurants is the Black Cat. It is in the Sycamore building. This is the Sycamore building, one of the more historical buildings in the Fairhaven area. There's a big courtyard in the middle that's enclosed, but it's open. So all 4 floors have this rail that you can look and see all the way down to the bottom. And it's just absolutely beautiful. They've kept it like it was back when it was built in the late 1800s, and the Black Cat is up on the top floor. Absolutely great place for happy hour, great place for going in there and getting some good food. And there's lots of nice windows along both sides of the building with bay views out that way. And over here, this is actually a brand new building. I shouldn't say brand new, but it was built in the last couple of years. And it was the original location of the Fairhaven Hotel in the late 1800s when Fairhaven was its own town. The developers put a great big hotel here. I think it was the Larrabee family which developed that hotel, and it burned down in the early 1900s, and it was basically a vacant lot for a long time, and it served many different purposes. There were smaller like food trucks that would be here. There was a gas station over the years, and what else was there? There was also the Bellingham Public Farmers Market was held here when it first started in the 1970s. But it's actually built to be a replica of the hotel, so it's got this clock tower which the original hotel had. So it's a nice little way to keep the theme of Fairhaven alive. And there is actually one of the only corporate typed businesses that's in all of Fairhaven. I've walked all through Fairhaven because I used to live there. And it's mostly, or it's actually all locally owned businesses, but there is a Lululemon store in here. And I can't remember what they call those special Lululemon stores. It's kind of like a little outlet, but there's a Lululemon store in there. And I got a shout out to Peter James Photography. It's not showing up here, but in this corner of this, I can't remember what the name of this building is. Oh, the Orca building, because you can't really tell right here. In the corner, they put this giant orca statue. It looks like it's jumping through the side of the corner of the building, which is pretty spectacular. And he has amazing Pacific Northwest. Actually, I think it might just be Washington State. He's a professional photographer, and he makes these giant giant pictures that are printed on metal, and you can get them any size, all the way from just like 8x10 all the way up to these giant metal portraits that can be put in commercial buildings. So definitely check out that gallery for Peter James. He also has a gallery in what is that town? Leavenworth, which is in central Washington. He's got a gallery that they just opened up there. A good friend of mine. I also have a lot of his pictures are on my website. So if you go to livinginbellinghamwashington.com, most of the pictures that you see in there are taken by Peter James himself. And Maikham restaurant, this is a great, if you like Asian food, but you want something with a little bit of a twist, definitely check out Maikham. Very unusual food. I know the lady, Usani, that owns that restaurant. She used to work overseas in a U.S. embassy as the chef for the U.S. embassy. So she's an absolutely fantastic cook, and she will probably actually be the one making your meal. She's that hands-on. So great place for some good Asian food. We have the filling station, nice burger, high-end gourmet burger joint right here that's pretty good. Got some more condos. Let me zoom out a little bit here. And the parking, all this parking that you see in this particular lot is all free. At least I'm almost certain that it's free. So that's first come, first serve. But any of the street parking, you're gonna pay metered, except for on Sundays, I believe. So there'll be meters on all of these parking spots. It used to be free up until about 3 or 4 years ago, but they finally put meters in. There's also a good pizza place here called Oven Pizza. So if you like wood fire pizza, the corner of this building is the place to check out. And there's a hotel, the Fairhaven Village Inn Hotel right here. Nice place to stay if you are going to be coming to the Bellingham area. And there is also a, Magdalena's Creperie. They also have pierogies, so she is from Poland. Great homemade Polish food in there. And then actually the very first bar I ever went to when I moved to Bellingham in the year 2000 was Archer's Ale House right here on the corner. And it kind of reminds me, when you're going down in it, it's kind of like if you remember that old sitcom Cheers back in the 80s. You go down these stairs from the street level to get in. It's in a lower level underground. They used to have darts in there. I don't think they have darts anymore, but they have a nice, really big old bar that I believe is original from the 1800s. Got lots of board games. I would say that it's kind of an Irish theme. They've got lots of good bar food in there as well. As we come down Harris, one other thing I want to point out, there's a cool little place called Paws for Beer. And if you have a dog and you want a beer, you come to Paws for Beer. And this is a dog-friendly, like outdoor dog park. And you can come in here, you can grab your beer, cider, some food and snacks, and you can come out here in this enclosed, it's basically like a off-leash dog park. And in the summer months, they'll oftentimes have bands and activities. So it's just a great place to gather. You'll find a lot of people hanging out here in the summer months with their dog. You don't have to have a dog, but just keep that in mind. That's where that's at. And you can see here's the Amtrak station that I was telling you about. Also, the Greyhound buses come out of this Amtrak station. And let's see, what else do we got here? There's some nice condos along here that they built about 5 or 6 years ago. Those are going to be closer to $800 million a piece. And these are all condos as well. Studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. And same thing along here. Most of these buildings that they built are going to have condos on the second floor and up, and the main floor are going to be businesses. Another cool thing in the Fairhaven neighborhood is this Firehouse Arts and Event Center. And they have a nice little coffee shop, but they have a big like amphitheater in here. So there are a lot of performances that come through, like live musicians, pianists, plays. It has kind of amphitheater style seating. So there's a lot of cool activities that happen in there as well. And like I said, you can have coffee or biscuit. The typical coffee shop type stuff is in there as well. So there you have it. It's a quick tour of the Fairhaven area with this map tour here in Google Maps. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions about the Fairhaven area and want more specific answers, I'd encourage you to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd be happy to help you make a move here to the Bellingham, Washington area. And definitely be sure to hit the button for subscribing and the bell for notifications so you can be notified when new videos like this come out on the other neighborhoods here in the Bellingham, Washington area. And how about you? Have you ever lived in the Fairhaven area? If you have, be sure to leave some comments below on what you liked and didn't like. And until next time, I hope to see you around town.